It's that time of the year again here in the States. The leaves are turning, the weather's changing, and pumpkin spice everything is taking over. If you're not pumpkin spice, you're not cool. And you know who loves pumpkin spice? Hot babes. And I love hot babes. I also have an undying need and desire to feel cool, so I had to jump on the bandwagon and make my own pumpkin pie baked oatmeal. This one's got about 440 calories and 24 grams of protein each. Here's how you make it. To make your baked oatmeal, place a blender container over a scale and add in all of your ingredients. Starting with the star of the show, one 15-ounce can or 425 grams of canned pumpkin. Make sure this is unsweetened canned pumpkin and not some kind of pumpkin pie filling, because that's not what the Pilgrims would have wanted. Next, add in 1 cup or 240 grams of 2% milk and 1 cup or 227 grams of cottage cheese. I use 2% cottage cheese here for a bit more flavor, but you could use fat-free if you wanted to slash a couple of calories. I'm using the cottage cheese in place of heavy cream for a more macro-friendly option. Follow that with 3 whole eggs, 1/2 of a cup or 120 grams of maple syrup, ½ teaspoon or 3 grams of salt, 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of pumpkin pie spice. Now, if you're one of those sickos who likes all the warming spices and want a more spiced and autumn-esque end product, add a bit more of this here. Lastly, I'm adding 2 scoops or 60 grams of vanilla flavored protein powder. I'm going to be using casein today because that's all I happen to have in the house, but any kind that you have available to you should be okay here. Using casein may give you a slightly better texture though, not by a lot, just a couple percentage points. Then you can slap that rascal on the base and send it into hyperspeed. Let it go for a minute or so to mix everything together and get that cottage cheese blended up. While that's happening, take out a 13 by 9 inch casserole dish and spray it with oil. Then you can dump in 3 cups or 240 grams of rolled oats. Some people like to blend these oats with everything else. It makes it a little bit too thick for my liking, but it's up to you if you want to. Next, I pour out my pumpkin mixture over the top, scrape out anything stuck to the walls of the blender, and mix it all together until everything is well incorporated. I just do this straight in the casserole dish to save myself from having to clean another bowl. Would this be easier to just mix together in a bowl? Yeah, of course. Would I ever subject myself to have to clean another bowl or utensil if I didn't have to? What are you, a crazy person? Throw this nonsense into a 350 Fahrenheit or 176 Celsius oven for 50 minutes to an hour or until it is set in the center. Everyone knows the only reason to make any pumpkin baked good is so you can shovel cream cheese frosting into your fat mouth. It would be nice to eat the real thing here, but to prevent me from all that fat and sugar, I'm going to make a fake one with Greek yogurt. To do so requires only 3 ingredients. First, about 1/2 of a cup or 100 grams of 2% plain Greek yogurt. Then 1/2 of a cup or 100 grams of whipped cream cheese, and 2 tablespoons or 30 grams of maple syrup. Stir all this together until it is smooth. I used the whipped cream cheese here for the extra volume, but once you stir everything together it flattens out, so it really might not make a difference after all. I'll take this frosting and pipe it over the top of each dish so it looks nice, so I transferred it into a Ziploc bag and kept it in the fridge until the oatmeal was ready to go. After about an hour, my oatmeal had finished, so I pulled it from the oven and let it sit on the counter until it had cooled close to room temperature. Then I took a nice flexible spatula and traced around the perimeter of the pan to release it from the edges and cut it into 6 equal slices. Using that same bendy spatula, I dug underneath each of the pieces and moved them into a meal prep container for storage. Because I want these to look nice for the camera, I'm going to pipe the frosting across the surface. You don't have to go to these lengths if you don't care what it looks like. Just spoon it over the top and that is more than sufficient. The other option you have is to leave the frosting on the side and keep it in the fridge during the week. Then after you reheat the meals, you can add it to the top. This would be my preferred method, but if you need to travel with them to work or school, it's fine if you need to heat the frosting and the oatmeal together. It still tastes great. Each serving of this pumpkin pie baked oatmeal has about 440 calories with 24 grams of protein. Now, I personally don't keep meals in the fridge for longer than 5 days, so because I have 6 servings here, that means one day I'll double up. I have kept them in the fridge for 6 days before. They're still fine. I just prefer to keep it to 5. Double up, freeze some, share with a roommate or a spouse. You'll figure it out. I love meal prepping these baked oatmeals for my breakfast or late night snacks because they're so easy to make. Place that blender over a scale, dump in some ingredients, and you're almost done. The oven does most of the work for you. In the description of this video, there is a link to where you can find this recipe with all the instructions and ingredients listed, and that's published on my website, mealprepmanual.com. I hope that for all of you who are asking me to make a pumpkin baked oatmeal, this one meets all of your expectations. Give it a try and let me know. For other variations of baked oatmeal just like this one, check out the 2 videos on screen now. Bye.